You ever see these guys? The Steelers Dynasty Podcast. What morons. Bubba is funny, but that Shane guy's a simpleton. Jamie, pull that clip up. Yeah, the Steelers Dynasty one. Can you believe these dumb Steelers? Fans, watch this crap. Yeah, that's it. Look at these two. Wow. You're watching the Steelers Dynasty Podcast with Bubba and Shane. These guys are morons, really dumb, funny, but dumb.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Steelers Dynasty Podcast. I'm your host, Bad Bubba Brewer, and tonight we got a great show. We're going to be talking Steelers football because next week will be the huge draft of 2025. But before we get into this, I can't do this show without the right-hand man, the special field correspondent, the guy who's West Virginia Mountaineer Mafia host, and he knows his college football. My host, co-host, host of the most, Mr. Shane Stodmiller. What in the... What is that? What is that?
You're supposed to blur my face out and change my voice.
To what?
Well, I mean, I got so much heat after yesterday's show because I thought they trade TJ Watt.
Oh no, you tapped out, and the pitchforks were flaming yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday on the combined show of Steelers Dynasty Podcast and Steelers Nation Australia, when I took my hat off and I went GM, was not. Whoo! It was dicey and pricey, Shane. I mean, they were cool after, and I apologize because I put my fan hat back on. But tonight we're going to talk maybe a little bit about that. We're going to get ready for the draft. We're excited. So the Steelers season is going to be coming on. The NFL draft is probably one of the biggest things in all the sports, I believe.
Yep.
So tonight we got a special guest from Sportsvival. He is the creator. He's the owner. He is the draft guru to this show and all his shows on his channel. Welcome back to the show, our buddy JT. JT, how you doing tonight?
Good, guys. Love that. Love the penguin thing you got going on over there, Shane. Love it, man.
I'll tell you what, JT, gave us a good analogy that the Penguins are kind of where the Steelers are. A little bit of rebuilding. You don't want guys to get too old. So I'm rocking the Penguins.
I like
gear just to kind of.
What did that cost you, Shane?
This was free. We went to the Penguins game, the kids and me, and we had banger seats right on the glass. Got to see everybody get smacked around a little bit. Got to see Malkin get 2 minutes for fighting.
Oh,
that never happens.
No.
Well, speaking of fighting, JT, we were on a show yesterday, and boy, I tell you what, I brought a little bit of controversy and a little bit of heat, and I'm not trying to do that on this show because I'm still now the fan. But you being the man behind the scenes for your website and all the sports stuff in Pittsburgh, what is Pittsburgh media and what is going on with this Steelers stuff about Mr. number 90 offhand? Have you heard anything?
I'll tell you what, man. I think at first it was a lot of smoke, like the peace sign that started it all, right? And he gave the little peace sign coming off the field. But what you guys talked about last night makes sense, though. I mean, if you're gonna be not just a fan, but somebody who's looking at the best angle for the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, the time is now, man. He's 2 or 3 years older than Myles Garrett. Look at his last 5 games last year. TJ Watt was held to 0 sacks. He was getting double teamed. He was starting to chip him, double team him. Highsmith wasn't able to take advantage of it. If you're going to get, I mean, you're talking some high. You're talking a number 1, number 2, number 1s, a number 1, a 3, a player. I mean, there's a lot of.
Okay, so what you're saying, JT, if it was going to happen, it has to be.
It has
like
to be this year.
Sports cars, not Ford Festivas and Chevy trucks.
Super cars.
Nothing wrong with Chevy trucks. But
right now it's big time. If you do it this off season, but if you wait a year and it's like we talked about off the air. I mean, Malkin Letang. I hate to get into different sport, but Malkin Letang they should have been gone years ago. Crosby should have been the one that carried this on. If you rebuild 5 years ago, the Penguins are right back where they need to be. And the Steelers are sort of in that boat right now, especially without a quarterback. I mean, this organization really, if you think about it, this organization is very far from the Super Bowl right now. I mean, honest to God. I mean, first off, they don't have a quarterback. So you got two good receivers and nobody throwing them the ball.
What's your opinion on this quarterback situation during this offseason? Have you seen this like this in your entire life?
I think it's the Steelers being the Steelers, man. They thought they can get Justin Fields for nothing when Justin Fields didn't come here for nothing. They moved on to the next one, and Aaron Rodgers, who knows? This guy could literally hold out until June, July, and say, you know what, I'm done, I'm retiring. I mean, that's a scary part to me. I mean, the guy that just signed with Cleveland is the guy that I was hopeful the Steelers would sign. That's Joe Flacco.
So you wanted Flacco, JT, with that veteran leadership to come in and probably could be the starter if he would have been signed?
I would have taken Flacco with Rudolph as a backup, and if you do go with a first-round quarterback, at least a Flacco is a guy that could bring the guy along. And Rodgers, if you get Rodgers, you're basically stunting the growth of the organization for a year. We're not going to win. We might win 9-10 games like we always do. We're not going to go anywhere. Rodgers is not good enough to lead this team to a Super Bowl. And think about it. We're not better than the Chiefs. We're not better than the Bills. We're not better than the Ravens. I would even put the Texans almost in there now at this point. So why not start you might as well start. You got to start building for the future now, man. Are you going to be that team that everybody's like, oh, Luke, go 0-17. Go 0-17 and draft what's his name next year? The Manning kid from Texas. But the thing with that is the NIL, and Shane, we just talked about this. The NIL, this kid could be like, you know what? I'm making $10 million at Texas. I don't have to do anything but go to school, not even go to class. Why go pro? And you're going to see a lot of this happening in the future. Teams like Cleveland or maybe the Giants or the Jets drafting first, and the kid's going to go, you know what? Now wait till next year. And you're going to see it a lot more now, man.
There's one saving grace, one little piece of frosting on that cupcake left, okay? The kids didn't lick it all off. There's one little piece, and that's Tennessee's quarterback, Nico Lamaleva, whatever. That kid dropped out. They offered him like $4 million. He snubbed his nose at it. Now other teams don't want anything to do with him because they don't know if he's worth that.
You saw where he went today, though, right?
Where'd he go?
UCLA.
Okay, UCLA. But here's the thing.
No, you're right, though. Other schools stepped up. They actually showed some class. They said, no, we don't want this kid.
They said, sorry, we're not going to pay that. That in itself, yeah, he signed, probably he's making $4 million at USC. That's fine. But it's starting to tilt the other way. Programs are deciding there is a ceiling now. But with that being said, JT, you're spot on. These NAL deals, they're staying an extra year or two because they're making more than league minimum of $1.1 million, whatever it is. So good for them. That's changing what's happening with this draft.
And if you're a guy like Manning, even if you go back to school and get hurt, you're still Manning. You're still going to go number one. You're still going to go. I mean, this kid holds all the cards. I mean, so whoever drafts first next year or the year after, and he's going to put up huge numbers. This kid, he's the real deal. I mean, he's the real deal, and he has Manning's last name. So, I mean, the kid's going to – it's the fight for Manning right now. But like I said, if it's a team he don't want to go to, and you already saw what his uncle did, Eli. So, I mean, the Mannings ain't afraid to either hold out or get the deal they want or whatever they got to do. So, it's a whole different world right now. It really is. I mean, they're going to have to
is it changing the way the draft from now on will be in the NFL? And if all these college players just want to sit at home and make more money before their rookie contract, it's going to change the whole NFL dramatically.
Put it this way, guys. For my old company, I did about 350 to 360 prospect profiles for this draft right now coming up. Mm-hmm. And I want to say about 130 or 140 decided to come back to school that were draft eligible. They could have been drafted in the 3rd, 4th rounds, even 1st and 2nd, a couple guys. So it's like that every year now. I mean, there's guys that are just like, I'm coming back. I mean, they got it made. Think about it. If you were getting $7 million, everybody in school loves you. They know you're going to be an NFL player one day. Why not suck that in, man? I would if I was a kid, I'd be like, I ain't going to the NFL yet. You got it made, man. You got it made. You're
king.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You could be, and I'm not trying to knock the guy, but a guy like a Kyron Lacey that did something stupid and they ended up killing himself, the kid from LSU. He would have been, at one point, he was like a 3rd, 4th round draft pick before all this stuff went down.
Yeah.
So, he gotten that. He killed somebody in a car and then he killed himself. So you're taking a risk. If you're a young kid, you go back to school, people, you know how that goes. I mean, people were going to, you mix it the wrong crowd, people get you involved in something.
Oh yeah.
Involved in. So that's the only down part on that. But
the thing of it is, you hit the nail on the head, and I'm not disparaging all the girls in Pittsburgh. I kind of am. Here's back in a compliment. Knoxville, Tennessee, the co-eds of Tennessee, or if you go to Auburn, Alabama, which I've been down there, or heck, even West by God, Virginia, or Boulder, Colorado. The co-eds are a lot better than the girls hanging out down the Strip District on a Saturday night.
Oh, no doubt, man. They got their own room. They got their own rooms. They got where they live. It's a lot of I mean, believe me, if I look back to my years in college, I was a baseball player, and I'm like, man. I mean, I wasn't a big enough school for NILs. Even there was NILs back then, but like just that feeling of knowing you're in class, you're a star. Why get rid of that, man? Why go to an NFL team for less, like he said, less money? Because your rookie contracts ain't near. Some of these NIL deals are insanity, and we're talking $7 million for some guys. And don't forget about all the perks they get on the side too. These guys are still getting, cars.
So JT, you weren't part of that video from 15 years ago. 2 catchers, 1 cup.
No, I wasn't.
No.
No, man.
District girls can get freaky. That's what Gene says.
I'm just saying there's a lot better selection at the University of Tennessee or Auburn or, Colorado. Just saying.
Well, I tell you what, guys, we got a lot of people in the chat. Thank you guys for all your comments. Burns was in there commenting about trade TJ Watt and all this other stuff, but I didn't want to get back into that crazy talk. It's not going to happen, Burns. But let me ask you, JT, because I was just reading Jerry Dulac, because we were talking yesterday before we get into some draft talk. Do you think that the Steelers are going to trade Pickens for a 2nd-round pick? Because Dulac said absolutely he didn't hear any chatter about that. Do you think that might be something 2nd draft day or something like that?
It wouldn't shock me, but you're basically went out and got Metcalf to improve your receiving core. You don't know what you got with Roman Wilson yet. I still think the kid's going to be good. And sometimes when you lose a guy for a year like Roman Wilson, it's sort of nice because you almost got like an extra draft. You sort of got like another draft pick coming if you think of it that way. But I could see them doing it, especially I think if they do it, though, it's going to be the next couple of days. Because I think if they do move Pickens to get a 2nd-round pick, they're going to do it to try to do something with their 1st-round pick as well. I'm hearing a lot of rumors about Sanders, man. I mean,
yeah, you know what? You got right into that subject right there.
Let's talk dirty talk.
Let's hit that right now. What do you think of this Mr. Sanders, Shedeur Sanders? I'm not one that is all about this. I don't think he should have got his jersey retired. I think that was a publicity stunt.
Cordell Stewart should have his retired.
Yeah. And if he does come to Pittsburgh, I believe we're going to get his dad too. And do we need that more drama than we have?
No, if his dad has anything to do with the way Tomlin coaches, it could be a mess. I know they talked and they said that they enjoyed. Sanders said he loved the Steelers way. He said all the right stuff. Geez, man. I mean, this is a time of the year, and you guys know this as well as me. You start off with 3 quarterbacks. You start off with 2 quarterbacks that are getting drafted in the 1st round, Ward and Sanders. And now all of a sudden, the Steelers sort of had this thing for Jackson Dart. Now all of a sudden, you're hearing Jackson Dart could go ahead of Sanders. Now all of a sudden, you're hearing this Tyler Shaw kid could jump up. You're starting to see 4 or 5 it always happens every year. The only year this didn't happen was the year the Steelers took Kenny Pickett. The quarterbacks the quarterbacks didn't jump up. Pickett was the only pick in the first round, but to get Sanders, they're not gonna about to sit. Put it this way, they're not gonna about to draft Sanders where they draft in the draft. They're gonna have to move up or something like that. I mean, they're gonna have to do something. They're gonna have to maneuver around. I believe even to get Jackson Dart at this point, I think the 3 quarterbacks could go in the top 20 now.
Wow.
What about Kyle? Kyle McCord.
I don't mind Kyle
Ohio State. Now he's just finished up at Syracuse. Tall guy.
He tore up the ACC.
Likes him. Really good testing. I mean, he's undervalued. I mean,
if you can get him in a 3rd or 4th round, man, like 3rd round especially. We don't have a 2nd round pick. I think he could be there in the 3rd round. We might have to move up in the 3rd round to get him, but I like McCord. McCord, I got to see him play against Pitt. He tore up the ACC last year. And I think Ohio State, he was just a little bit sort of like gun shy. I mean, sometimes think about it, guys. If you're playing for an offense as a sophomore, junior in high school, and you have 19 NFL prospects that you have to deal with, I think sometimes you could be, over just flustered. I mean, you got so many guys you got to work with. Where now he went to Syracuse and he looked good, man. Like he's a big guy, can throw the ball. I have no problem if the Steelers.
What would you compare him to, JT? What would you compare him? What player him to?
He's got a strong arm. You know who he sort of reminds me of, but he's not as strong of an arm. And it's sort of a weird comparison. But when I think of Kyle McCord, I think of Jay Cutler. I don't know why, but I sort of get he has that strong arm. Cutler had a freakish arm, but he has that kind of he has that kind of ability. And I watched him against Pitt, man. He was hitting windows because you're up top looking down. And I'm like, no way. And he would hit these windows. So I mean, the Steelers. And let's just say we don't know what they're going to do. They may have a guy that they want in the 3rd round. It could be a Quinn Ewers. It could be they could have that guy that they want, and they're going to hopefully get the guy that I want them to get in the 1st round, which is a defensive player, and then move on.
And who would that be?
I like Derek Harmon from Oregon, the big defensive tackle that can. Dude, he's not Casey Hampton. He's Casey Hampton with mobility and able to track stuff down. He could free up the interior, which would really help like the linebackers, would help everything. Think about when Casey Hampton was here. Hampton, what do you have, like maybe 35 tackles a year if he was lucky.
Yeah, not much.
But what you want from a nose tackle is just to take space. You want the linebackers to run freely. You don't want that guard to be able to hit the nose tackle and go to the next level, and then the linebackers. And that's why our linebackers, if you think about the linebackers back when Hampton played, I mean, we had no matter who we put at linebacker, they were phenomenal. So, and I think Derek Harmon with Benton, you get one more year out of Hayward. I can't say 2 more with him. I think 1 more year you'll be lucky to get out of Hayward, and then you move on. But you have a good base for your defensive line with Benton and Harmon. You have the young linebacker like Peyton Wilson. You have some young linebackers there, and Herbig, and then you're starting to get youth on the corner, which I wouldn't mind a cornerback at some point in the draft as well to go with JPJ. I like the signing. They signed the veteran from Darius Slay. I like the signing.
Yeah.
For a year, but they got to get younger, so they got to get that guy outside.
Well, let me ask you, because we're going into draft talk too. But do you think this offseason, besides Metcalf, what would you rank the Steelers' offseason acquisitions in the free agency? What kind of ranking would you give them?
I would say like a C+, man. I think
C+?
Slay. Yeah, I think Slay helps.
Gene said don't sleep on him.
Yeah, who's that?
Slay. Gene, our community chat said don't sleep on Slay. So he's
I think Slay for a year, man. I think what he can do. I've already heard that he's talking to JPJ, and he's already said some great things about him. He said I've never seen a young guy with arms as long as his that. They just got to teach the guy not to hold people, man. I mean, he gets. I mean, it's almost like if you did a drinking game for the Steelers, it would be every time JPJ gets a penalty called on him, you'd be hammered by the 3rd quarter. I like Slay. I think the Steelers need to go get. I think the one thing they got to do after the draft, because they can't do it in the draft. You can't get a veteran in the draft. They need to get a veteran interior lineman on offense, like a guard, because you're putting a lot of faith in Mason McCormick. I know he looked good last year, but James Daniels leaving opened up a sort of a void there veteran wise. I think you need to improve the interior. I think they'll take a guard or a tackle at some point in the draft. Losing that second round pick sort of makes me give him a C+ because that second round pick's rough, man. I mean, I love Metcalf, don't get me wrong, but we already talked about it. You can have Jerry Rice out there and Lynn Swann, but who's throwing him the ball? I mean, right now, I mean honestly.
Well, do you think, okay, since all this controversy with all these quarterback dramas of the Aaron Rodgers stuff, now before we came online, I just read an article about the Steelers and the Colts speculating about making a trade for Richardson, which is ungodly because they're just throwing clickbait out now because
I saw Deshaun Watson right before we got on. Deshaun Watson from Cleveland to Pittsburgh with another rumor I just saw. It's clickbait.
No. I mean, my God.
No way. Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
Now, since all this clickbait stuff and the Rodgers stuff, I thought last week with the Pat McAfee show, I thought he was coming out.
I did too.
Okay, so that's pretty much unanimous for a lot of people, and he didn't come out. So that, to me, that pretty much ends Rodgers debate on this show and probably other shows that we're on. None of us we're all in the same boat. But what do you think about your opinion of Mason Rudolph? Getting him have the keys to the car and letting him get an opportunity to be a number one quarterback because he never got to be a chance for a number one quarterback.
In all honesty, if you tell me right now, I'd rather have Mason Rudolph and a rookie than have Rodgers and then Rudolph backing up. I'd love to give Rudolph a fair chance. I mean, his little bit of time in Pittsburgh, he was winning games at the beginning. Then the Myles Garrett thing happened, and he seemed to fall off the cliff. He looked decent at times last year with Tennessee. I honestly, I told you guys already, I don't think this team is good enough to go past. If they upset somebody in the first round, there's no way. There's 4 or 5 teams right off the bat that's better than us, no matter what we do from here on out this offseason. So I'd rather see Rudolph and bring a young rookie in and start to build from there. I mean, you got it. All Rodgers is doing is putting you in neutral for another year because you're not going to win. Nobody's getting playing time but him. There's going to be a lot of bitching and moaning. There's going to be I just think there's going to be so much drama with Rodgers, man. Look at the drama now he's doing. I mean, people are saying that he's still waiting for I'm hearing rumors he still wants the Vikings, man. He still wants the Vikings to.
I heard that too.
He wants to go into camp. He wants to see JJ McCarthy start to fail a little bit in camp and then say, you know what, that's where he wants to go. He wants to go to Minnesota. So that's why he's holding out, man. He's going to hold out past the draft. He's going to hold past the I think he's going to go all the way into the start of camp. So the Steelers are going to be the team just sat there and holding them. I wouldn't wait for a guy like that, man. I'd make the announcement right here, like, hey, Rudolph's the quarterback. We drafted so and so. Let's go from here. Maybe even go out and get like a Flacco type quarterback. A guy that you just bring him in case. Rudolph
what quarterback besides? Okay, so we have Mason Rudolph right now is permanent markered in as the Steelers starter right now as we speak. What veteran quarterback, if the Steelers could sign for a backup, would you try to entice to come to Pittsburgh, JT?
I mean, they already see all the guys that I wanted have already signed. There's a point that I want a Winston. I'm like, you know what? Jameson Winston will give Pickens and Metcalf will have 1,500 yards apiece. He'll throw 35 touchdowns. He'll throw 42 interceptions. But the games would be fun to watch. That was the one guy, the guy that I've always loved, and I get made fun of it in my circles. I love Gardner Minshew. I've loved Gardner Minshew from the day that he came out.
Wow, that is a name. So your boys give you a little jag with that one.
Oh, they do, man. You know what? I did draft guides back with Sportsvival, which I'm gonna get back into. I made a draft guides up, and I had him as a 5th rounder. He went in the 6th round, I believe, and I said that he was gonna get out of all the rookie quarterbacks, I actually made this prediction. He was going to play more than most rookie quarterbacks that year, and he did. If you remember Jacksonville,
right.
I forget who. I think it was Lawrence. Lawrence got hurt. He came in. He got to play a lot, and I love that he's a gunslinger. I'm like, he went to KC, of course. He's off the table now too. He's behind Mahomes. I thought that was a great signing by the Chiefs. But that's the kind of guy you want. You want like a Flacco. Flacco had been perfect here. I thought Cleveland did a great job by getting Flacco because
I mentioned Flacco a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, because Flacco and Pickett, I mean, I would put my money on Flacco beating on Pickett, being honest. I mean, I think Flacco did it a couple years ago for Cleveland, remember? I mean, I don't know why Cleveland never got rid of him in the first place as a backup, but that's what we need. We need Rudolph, a veteran backup that just sits there, doesn't bitch, and then if you get a rookie that you want. But I don't get why these teams just say we need a quarterback, we get a rookie quarterback, but there's not one that you want. And you take one, then you get rid of him in a year, like the Jets do it. Like I don't get if there's not a quarterback there that you want, wait a year, get a veteran. It's just.
What was the quarterback that was that the Ravens quarterback that backed up Jackson? What was his name? Is that what you're talking about, George?
Oh, Tyler. What's his name? Is it Tyler Huntley?
Yeah, I think is that him?
I can't remember.
Is he available?
I think there's a couple out there still, man. I could look real quick. There's a couple like the veterans that I wanted are off the board, but let's see, free agent quarterback still available. It changes so much. Well, okay, Russell Wilson signed, Cousins signed, Geno Smith. They're all the ones that just signed. Like Andy Dalton would have been the kind of guy. That's the kind of guy I'm talking about. Like a guy like that, like a guy that's played. You have him as a backup. He's not going to bitch about sitting on the bench. That's the kind of guy you want right now.
Professional.
Yeah, I mean, just a guy that ain't gonna. And if you have a rookie quarterback, he'll take the time. And dude, Aaron Rodgers does not care about helping anybody out but himself. And a rookie quarterback will not learn. You saw what happened with Jordan Love. I mean, he didn't want nothing to do with Jordan Love. And
is Mariota still? Is he? And he got signed, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He signed with he signed right after I'm almost positive he signed up right after he signed with the Commanders.
And Burns, Kent Graham is not available. No, Burns, we're not going back to the 80s. We might, but
we're gonna do that. Get Mike Tomczak, man. Get Tomczak.
He wasn't bad because he didn't mess up. He was he didn't cost you a game. So you think going back to the nose tackle, so you're already thinking nose tackle, and I like that because I've been preaching that for this whole time. Steelers get a nose tackle, defensive tackle in the first round.
He kept coming up on our mock draft, Bubba. That was the, that Oregon defensive guy to tackle. He came up on.
He came up I think twice. Didn't he?
Twice. He was the guy.
And after Mason Graham's going to go in the top 5 or 10. He like the Jets like him, but after that, there should be a big fall till then. And I like the kid from Michigan too, Kenneth Grant, but I don't think
he'll probably be gone.
He won't be here.
Yeah, he's probably going to be around right around our time. I honestly, I think there could be a choice between Grant and Harmon. Honestly, Mason Graham's the one that's going to go. Grant's good. Grant's not like Mason Graham is. I mean, if that guy would somehow slide, that'd be the guy that you'd want. But we need to. You already did it. You already upgraded your offensive line, which hopefully these tackles, hopefully Fatanu is the real deal, like they thought he was before he got hurt, and hopefully Broderick Jones. Broderick Jones had an issue last year with his shoulder. You could see it. It looked like he wasn't 100% some of the time. I thought he showed a lot of maturity, especially when the Pickens stuff happened. He was the guy that would grab Pickens, and I'm hoping that's the kind of guy he's going to be. And he's going to grow into that. But I would love to get the defensive line. You got to start building it, man. Because once Hayward's gone, you're down to nothing. You're down to scraps.
No, I can't see that. Can you see the Steelers making a move on Ramsey? I can't see that.
No,
Gordon Ramsay's available.
maybe for making lunch. But I just seen that because the Dolphins want to free up that he's got $25 million.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think Slay's the guy that you want. You're the veteran there. If anything, you draft a corner. Like I said, losing that second round pick makes this draft a lot harder now because it was easier to say get a quarterback and a defensive tackle. Now you got a whole round off. That's
So tackle in the first, but what are you taking in the third if they don't make a trade? Now say they made a trade, JT.
Mhm.
They traded and they got a second round pick. What position would you take in that second round?
I'd be tempted to take a cornerback. But I also like Shane said, I think the Steelers might have plans for a quarterback like later in the draft. I think that they know that they're not about to trade up for Sanders. Dart might not be there, so I think they have a guy, and it might be McCord. I think McCord would be that kind of guy, like a Quinn Ewers, a McCord, somebody that they just like that they're not letting nobody know that they like. That would be the time I would take him then in the second round. I still would go with the defensive tackle, unless like a Dart or Sanders somehow slid down to us.
McCord was in town today. Did you hear anything about the visit? I haven't heard any news on how the visit went.
I haven't. I knew he was in town today. That's another thing. I put them. I take it with a grain of salt what I hear on the visits, because you're never going to hear a team say that visit was terrible, or the guy say the visit was terrible. So I always take that stuff with a grain of salt. I think Sanders has got a little bit overblown because he actually made it a point to quote that, hey, the Steelers way is going to be good. But I like his kid cornerback wise. Of course, the kid from Texas and the kid from Michigan are going to be off the board. Jahdae Barron will be gone. Will Johnson will be gone. I really like this big, tall kid from Notre Dame, Benjamin Morrison. I thought that if you have two big, long cornerbacks that could play up to their ability with him and JPJ, I think that would be a nice little start too there. I think Slay's got you got a year or two out of Slay at the most. We've lived this dream before with the Steelers with cornerbacks. Remember Joe Hayden? You get these cornerbacks. Peterson didn't do nothing much, but you have these veterans come in. They give you what they can for a year or two, and that's about it. So
now, do you agree with Gene says if Mason was a starter, you get a running back in the first round, maybe?
Good
or
defense.
would you still?
I've heard that of Marion Hampton's name a couple times. I know Genty will be off the board, of course. I think the running backs is too deep this year, man. I would take a defensive tackle, and you can get a great running back in the third round in this year. You can get that. You could probably get one of the two kids from Ohio State in the third round. I mean,
or the kid from Texas, or the kid from Virginia Tech. They're both fast as crap.
Or Arizona State, if you want to.
Arizona State has Cam Scadaboo. Yeah.
So okay. So we didn't trade. We don't have a second round pick going into the third round pick. You would probably say either take, if a quarterback is available, take that, or would you take a running back in the third if it was up to you?
I would take a running back, but if you make that trade, like you said, if Pickens is off the board, you better fill that receiver spot again. So that's the part that's really rough right now. Because I mean, if you do trade Pickens and move back into the second, all you're doing is opening up another position of need as well. So that's what's hard about drafting, man. You make a trade like Pickens. I mean, do I want to get rid of Pickens? No. But do I think if you can get a second round pick and somehow improve your receivers through the draft and maybe sign a veteran, I do think Pickens is going to implode one day. I mean, we've lived this nightmare how many times now with receivers that they start off like this. They're like, okay, they're going to get better. And they just, I don't know. And my one buddy who's on my show, Schneider, he always says, if you get a quarterback that throws him the ball religiously, the guy won't complain. But he's like, every number one receiver complains. That's his argument with me. And I'm like, I understand that, but some guys do it better than others. Like A.J. Brown does it, I think, a good way, where he gets in the guy's face and then they make up and they go. Pickens just acts like a baby. And I think those are the guys that eventually implode. And we've seen how many guys leave here because of stuff like that, So,
yeah, because I was thinking, and you guys could think I'm wrong or whatever, but I don't think they're going to trade George, because with Mason, he has 2 added weapons in the receivers, added with Pat Fryermuth, and Jalen Warren. I think our offense could score more than 18 or 19 points a game with that. And so why would you want to risk it not having 2 legitimate receivers out there because they can't cover everybody?
No, I mean, I agree with that. And I think right now, if them 2 come into the season healthy and Roman Wilson becomes Roman Wilson that we thought he could be, which we don't know now, and then you got Austin as your 4th, it's not a bad 4. We saw what Austin could do in times last year. And here's the other thing. The reason Russell Wilson was never mentioned for the Steelers, he came in last year and he has that nice little moon ball he threw for how many games, but how many times did he throw a ball over the middle of the field? Very little. And when you start to dig on why Sean Payton got rid of Russell Wilson, same idea. The guy doesn't use the middle of the field. Pat Fryermuth is a guy that could stretch the middle of the field for you a little bit. We didn't do it last year. He still had a ton of catches, but they weren't where they should have been. If you get a quarterback, and I think Rudolph can do it. Rudolph has the arm to do it. Stretch. You got Fryermuth over the middle. You got 2 weapons on the outside. That the running back thing, I like Gainwell as another free agent signing. I think Gainwell could help him in third down spots. But I don't know what the Steelers do. Najee Harris had like 80 catches his rookie year. Don't quote me on that. It was like 70 to 80 catches out of the backfield. And we used them right. Didn't do it again. We don't use our running backs the right way. We like doing these stupid wide receiver screens that drive me up a tree because we usually get -3 yards or.
What about, since they didn't sign, because I wasn't happy when they didn't give Najee 10 mil, another half mil, and give him 10 instead of 9.5. I like Najee as a person in the look. He was just a good player. He wasn't trouble, and you knew what you got with Najee Harris. Did you think Najee leaving was a subtraction, or do you think that could be an addition from somewhere else in the draft, or with what the running backs we have now, JT?
I think with Warren and Gainwell, if you get the right rookie in here, I think Warren's a great combo with somebody. That the guy that I'm trying to think now, the name's skipping me right now. There's a guy that we were talking about on my podcast. He's not a first-round running back. I gotta look it up real quick.
Gideon?
Who's that? Gideon
from Kansas State.
No, I know you were talking about. Nah, it wasn't him. It was oh my gosh, we thought it was a perfect combination for.
While you look it up, I'm gonna give Bubba some shit. Bubba,
he's super fast.
You bring up Najee again. I'm gonna tell Tammy you have a full-length body, 6-foot body pillow of Najee hidden in your bar.
I just think, but I think the Chargers he'll probably get over 1,000 yards this year, and they'll use him to the best of his ability, where he didn't get used, because I've seen him live. Big Ben's last game, he was running over the Cleveland Browns with Myles Garrett, and Dan Moore had his best game ever. And I seen that, you know what I mean? But I just wish they would have offered him something, and they just didn't. So
it is.
Yeah, I mean, he had a crap line. I mean, I don't know. Hi, Patricia.
The only thing I don't like about Najee, and this ain't a rip on him. He had 1,000 yards every year, but it was like 1,068, 1,092. In a 17-game season, that really isn't much per game. I mean, he never really had that. To me, it looked like he never hit the holes hard. Like, he brought Warren in, it was like, oh my gosh, Warren's getting 6 yards on a run where Harris was getting 1 or 2. I think Harris sometimes like you said, I like the guy. And by the way, that running back is the kid from Vautech.
He runs a 4.28 Michelle or whatever it is. Yeah,
he's 5'11", 209.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of his name, but yeah, it's Michelle Tootin. If you mix him with Warren, because you got Warren who's quick, but he's like a bowling ball, and then you get this guy in there. It could be a deadly combo, and you can get Tootin probably in that 3rd, 4th round range we were talking about. So that's the guy that I would go after. I wouldn't go after Hampton in the first.
Or the blue kid, the kid from Texas, the other running back, BLUE.
He'll be gone. Gentry, he'll be gone. But the Chargers the Raiders will pick him up.
Yeah. The kid from Boise State.
Yeah.
No, the kid from Texas. Andrew Blue, I think his name is. Last name Blue. Look him up. He's good.
Yeah, my mind right now is like in.
Well, yeah, you're in draft mode because that's all you're going to be doing for the next week, and we're asking you draft questions, and
but the running back from Texas. It's from Texas University, right? Because he's not a real high.
He's
Jaden Blue. Jaden
Blue.
Yeah. So we get a nose tackle, and we get a quarterback and running back, and that's three of the positions that we probably are going to definitely need. What other positions do we need to round out this 2025 draft class that you would want them to see, in the fourth and fifth, sixth, and seventh round picks? What do you think?
I wouldn't mind getting if you find this is a real deep draft for guards for some reason. Like guards are actually probably deeper than the tackles this year. I would take a guard like in the fifth or sixth round. I know Mason McCormick looked great last year. He played. But are you going to trust that? I mean, it's a guy could come in just if he doesn't have that kind of season again. We lost James Daniels. Like I already talked about, the interior line could be rough. I mean, you have Samalu on the one side who is getting up there in age, and you have a great center. I think Zach Frazier. Hell to the West Virginia guy there. It's a great pick. It was I mean, we've only missed on centers for like 5 years in a row before that, of course. When we could have had Creed Humphrey and all them guys, but I think that Zach Frazier is going to be a fit. But I would get a guard, maybe a safety. If there was a safety that we were going to take early, I love Xavier Watts from Notre Dame. I'm not a Notre Dame fan at all, but I love the secondary guys coming out from Notre Dame this year. Like I said, if something does happen with Pickens or whatever, I wouldn't mind seeing another receiver getting drafted even like in the 6th or 7th round, like one of them little MAC receivers that maybe we always hit on every once in a while. But
what about Mike Tomlin's kid as a free agent receiver?
They want him to come in for camp to be a body. I have no problem with that. But I mean, he's not gonna. There's no chance of him of making the team.
Okay. So what about the Watts secondary corner? I believe his safety or corner got hurt last year. Do you think he'll make an impact? Because like you said with Roman Wilson, because that year that they had off, it's like another draft pick.
Yeah, I think there's a chance he could. I mean, there's I went through the draft picks from last year. I did like a little recap of the Steelers picks, like about a month or two ago. I did like a grade, and you can't give him a grade because Fatanu didn't play barely. So that's another guy that you got another first round pick that didn't. What he played a couple games last year. So
I think he played one game or something, I believe. So
yes, you got him. You got Roman Wilson, who, from all intents and purposes, I mean, the kid's a tough receiver. To just some of these guys get hurt, and I did hear rumors. I don't know how true they were that he had trouble learning the offense when he was out, and the Steelers just said pretty much let's just give him a year off kind of thing. You got the Watts. This is like the year before we had Trice. Trice got hurt.
And then that Logan Lee guy came back from the play. He came back from the playoff, but he didn't start. So realistically, last year's draft,
they're all hurt.
3. We had three rookies get hurt. They didn't hardly ever play, and Troy Fautanu had one game and was out. So 4 last year didn't contribute.
The one guy that played was the guy that everybody said will never stay healthy in the NFL. That was Peyton Wilson. I mean, they was like, he's gonna get hurt right away. He played well. I mean, I was impressed with him. He was a draft pick that I really like. I think he's a playmaker. He's a guy. You saw with the interception he had when he ripped the ball out of that was against the Ravens, I believe. He ripped the ball right out of the receiver's hands.
I thought he wasn't going to be worth a shit because I didn't think it was going to at ACC play. Is not going to translate to the NFL. He's underweight.
He's so fast, though, man. He's fast. He's sideline to sideline fast. Like he's a guy that I thought worst case scenario, you make him a Cole Bishop, you make him a safety, put him in the but
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
but he's a good tackler, man. I mean, but his, like you said, I mean, dude, I said this when Shazier got drafted. Not that I said he was gonna get hurt like he did, but I was like, man, this is an injury waiting. You're only when you look that small in the middle of the field like that with all the big bodies running around you, man. It's just it's something bad's gonna happen. So, yeah, that draft class last year, it's like one of them things where it could still end up being a great draft class, Bubba. Then you get the guys that got hurt and they come back and they do well. And you're like, wow, we actually have like 8 draft picks coming out now that, if these draft picks do well as well, but you can't count on that. But I think the Steelers do got some depth. I think their depth is getting better. The last 2 drafts, I should say, with Khan have been great. I think they've gotten players that come in and they do something, but they don't use guys right. Let's get into Darnell Washington, man. That dude,
yeah, I know,
should have at least 40 catches, 50 catches. I mean, use him more. Okay, do you bring him in as an extra tackle for blocking and that? I get he's a good blocker, but man, you mean to tell me you're inside the 20-yard line, you're having trouble scoring, and Boswell's kicking 19 field goals a game? Have this guy just go out there. Have this guy go out there and throw the ball up, man. I mean, 6'7", 6'8" with good hands. Give him a chance in the red zone.
Do you think, okay, besides the draft picks that we have this year, do you think the Steelers will sign a veteran besides, you said you want them to sign a guard? Do you think that they'll sign any other type of veteran players after the draft?
I think they will. I think we might see a quarterback, depending on what goes on with Rodgers, besides Rodgers. I think if Rodgers isn't signed, you got to have a backup plan with Rudolph. It could be a quarterback. I think a receiver could be in play. Even sometimes it's nice just to get a veteran receiver in here. It's like
any linebackers, because I'll answer put Burns' question out there. One of the questions that I actually could put on the friggin' screen. So do you think they could, since we're not talking linebackers this year, which is surprising, do you think that they could draft one in the late round or sign somebody out there to fill the spots?
Yeah, JT, that's one position I have no idea from college football. I can't think of one that just stands out as a stud. I just don't this year. I don't think of it. I can't think of any.
Nah, the best kid's that Jihad Campbell from Alabama, but he's going to be off the board way before us. He's that kid's a freaking nature. Other than that, though, I mean, our inside linebackers aren't terrible. We got Patrick Queen. Holcomb's coming back from an injury. We signed Malik Harris. We signed Malik Harrison from Baltimore, who never really got a chance in Baltimore. I wouldn't count him out. And Patrick Peyton Wilson, I'm sorry, is another guy that you there. So it's not like we're definitely in need of one. I mean, if Holcomb comes back healthy, Holcomb's a tackling machine. Him and Queen wouldn't be a bad match. And then you got Peyton Wilson. Malik Harrison could be a nice signing. He's one of them guys that sort of went under the radar, sort of like Juan Thornhill. We got the safety from Cleveland. We got that Daniel Equale, that defensive tackle. We got some guys that are sort of under the radar signings that could help. We got Skylar Thompson, a quarterback. Don't forget him. So
we almost did. That might be our backup.
I hope not. That's not a guy.
I hope not either.
Yeah, and Kenneth Gainwell, like I said, our offseason is a C+. I mean, Kenneth Gainwell has a chance to be a nice like guy that comes in, maybe catches some passes out of the backfield and helps out there. They got to figure out what they're going to do with Cordell Patterson. That was a total sham last year.
He's still with the team too. They got to figure out how to use him. I mean, he's a big guy. I mean, I don't know. He started off his career as a receiver, became a fullback, running back, and I don't know. They got him. They signed him as a kick returner, and then they didn't realize the kick returning was basically useless in the NFL last year. If you think about it, we didn't have many kick returns. I mean,
yeah, I thought there was going to be a lot more returns, but I have a question. We're wrapping up the end of the show. Before we just go down a rabbit hole, I want to ask, what are your plans draft night? What are you going to what is JT going to be doing? Because you are a sweaty football nerd, and we love you. We love the fact you crunch the numbers. You can back up your
That's why we bring you on.
I love you. I love you guys too. And honestly, this is I think I told you this before. I just started a new 40-hour job. When I was working with my old company, that was my full-time job, so I didn't have to work. So now I'm working, get up at 4 a.m, work till like 4:30, 2:30, whenever I want. But I'll probably, honestly, God, this year I'm gonna be at my house drinking beer, texting out, tweeting out the picks, and then making sure I get to bed right after the draft's over so I get up for work Friday. But I already got plans for 26 with Sportsvival. I know it's in Pittsburgh, but I also know a lot of people don't want to be with 900,000 people down at the point or wherever.
It's going to get crazy. Where are they going to put all those people at?
I don't want to be around it. So on Thursday night, I already have a couple places where I have a back room I could have it saved. So I'm not going to do what my competitor that I came from does. I'm going to make it more fan favorite. T-shirts, hats, come out, get some beers. So that'll be 26. Yeah, I'm going to hang out with you guys. That's
well, you could come on. Hey, you're more than welcome to come on Thursday night.
Hey, I'm here.
And a little bit, if you want to come on and just hang out with us, because we're going to be going live at, I think, 7 o'clock Thursday.
I'm here, brother. I'll do it. I'll tell
you.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at.
I'll have beer next. You don't mind if I drink during it, right?
No, we're not going to broadcast. This isn't going to be.
We do a lot of drugs. We do a lot of drugs on this podcast.
Yeah, this I'm going to make sure. Marathon. Like, you can listen to our podcast while you're driving to Atlantic City, and we'll still be talking. No, it's not going to be like that. Chloe, how you doing?
No, I'll definitely be on. I would love to. I don't have, like I said, next year. My boss actually. I went back to. It's called EXL. It's an insurance company.
Yeah.
I went back to the place where I was before my last writing job. And the funny thing is, my boss knows me, and he goes, "You're taking off for the draft, right?" I go, "Nah, I just started, man. I'm not going to take off for the draft yet." I go, "Next year, I won't be around for probably 2 weeks because of the draft. I'm going to have, like I said, I would love for you guys. I know it's a year away, but I'd love to have you guys come.
We need to plan. Yep.
No, we actually been talking. We've been actually talking about it with Mark from Steelers Nation Australia, because Mark's coming back over from Australia because he's getting tickets, and then we want to combine like a super combo draft podcast. But I just don't know where it's going to be, because you're right. There's going to be over 100,000 people, and I have no clue where and how, because this is going to be huge.
Would you guys consider doing something like just outside?
2 million.
That's gonna be closer to 1 million. There were 700 and wasn't last year? Didn't they say 775,000? I mean, it ain't all one day. It's all, but still, that's a lot of people in Pittsburgh, man. That's like
And they're having it at Heinz Field, right? It'll be at Heinz Field.
Wow. Acrisure, come on.
No, I call it Heinz Field, JT.
No,
I can't.
Heinz Field.
Hey, by the way, while we're on here, real quick, and I know you have listeners, you have a ton of listeners in here, but anybody out there that writes wrestling, wants wrestling, I need myself a wrestling guide from my website. I'd like to get some wrestling articles up there. And Bubba, I'm extending this to you because you're a big wrestling guy.
Okay. Uh-oh.
You don't have to it doesn't have to be a big article. All it has to be is you can just list names. Would you give me one day your top 30 wrestlers, your favorite wrestlers from 1 to 30?
Oh, yeah.
Like professional, I'm talking like I was gonna do it, but mine are like 80s and 90s. Mine are like
I'll give you Me and Shane, we do this all the time.
I would love to have.
And actually, in the chat, Gene in the chat is a big, huge wrestling. Burns is a big wrestling fan. I bet you get a whole bunch of people ranking their top list.
Guys, give me a list, and I'll put them on my site and show people, and then I'll have that should make a good discussion for people, because I used to love. And I don't hate wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I think I told you guys that
Sometimes I hate it. Sometimes I hate it. Believe me.
Oh, you're in it, man. You're the man. You're like the Vince McMahon of Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah.
But he's living McMahon all day. Don't tell him that, JT.
I'm poor. I can't rub two nickels together to do a show. I gotta beg and plead.
Hey, but real quick, I did a quick podcast with guys about 10 years ago, and I think I told you they were the guys from what's the organization that's quitting right now?
It's KSWA. They had about 25 to 30 years in running shows. They do a Class D. It's like old school type of wrestling. Yeah.
And it was the guy. They were tag team guys. I think we talked about that. I can't remember. I never can remember their names. One guy always looked in the mirror. He's like the pretty boy, and the other guy was a big guy. I had him out to level 20 like 10 years ago, and doing a great podcast, drinking, eating, and I look at the bigger guy and I go, "Hey man," I go, "Wrestling's fake, right?" And he goes, "Huh?" I go, "It's fake." So no lie, dude, the bar's packed. He goes, "JT, stand up." So I stood up in the corner of the bar, and he goes, "Lift your shirt up." So I lifted up. My buddy, like this diehard wrestling fan. He's like, "Oh no!" I lifted my shirt up, and he goes, "He went like this, like at the backhand," and he hit me, dude. Hit me so hard that my heart stopped for a split second. I went to my knees, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" He goes, "Was that feel fake to you?" And I go, "No." He goes, "We do that like 3 or 4 times in a row to guys when they, we start a match sometimes." And I go, "Okay." So it actually went viral. I posted a video and it said, "Never say the F word to a wrestler." I can't remember. One guy, if he said her name,
Probably Sean Blanchard, maybe.
That's it. Sean Blanchard, and the other guy was a smaller guy that
Okay.
always looked in the mirror. Oh my gosh.
We
called himself the pretty boy or the beautiful boy. Sean Blanchard was the big guy. He's the one that hit me.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, I had a welt on my chest for, I want to say 2-3 weeks, and it's legit. But no, guys, thank you guys so much. Don't forget.
No, thank you. Now, before you get out of here, explain to the masses in our chat where they can actually, check out Sportsvival with all the articles from the Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, and you now you got your Pitt passes. You're a Pitt media guy now.
Yeah, Pitt and the Pirates right now. I'm trying to get the Steelers. Steelers are rough, man. I get exhibition Steelers, but I don't get It's hard to get in there with the Steelers.
Oh, I know. Believe me.
And the Penguins, I'm waiting for Crosby to leave because all the Canadian media will leave with Crosby. So, get on www.sportsvival.com. It's growing. I mean, we actually the next person I think will be number 1400. So.
Nice.
It'd be the 1400. So I look today. It said 1399. I'm waiting for that to change.
Oh
from
man,
1.
come on, guys! If you're not on it.
There you go. Here's their the logos right here.
Check, and
you also they also have Facebook.
Right,
they also have Facebook. They sell merchandise.
Yeah, there's hats. There's if you're a Pitt fan, for Pat Narduzzi, we have the Narcuzzi because that was my only drunk thing I've ever done well besides
That's
the 3
fantastic.
kids.
I love that.
I made 3 kids being drunk, but I also made a Narcuzzi. I've sold a ton of them.
That's funny. But next Thursday, I'll send you an invite, JT. You can hang out with us, watch it live on your TV, give us your insight when all these teams are drafting and stuff. You can drink some beer. We can have a good time.
I'm gonna have my Steelers draft cap on too. I bought a Steelers draft hat for the 20th straight year, so I'll have the Steelers draft hat on, and we'll be.
Oh, nice.
I'll be pumped. You give me something to look forward to now, guys.
Oh no, we appreciate it. We might have a couple other people come on, but yeah, this will be good, man. Because we do the whole first round, so I'll be on live the whole first round Thursday, and then Mark from Steelers Nation Australia and us. Friday night, we're tagging up for round, was it 2 and 3 Friday night? And Mark's doing his own show Thursday also. So it's like
that's awesome.
2 of us are split.
Hey,
so
stay there, guys. I'm going to get something to show you what I have for
well, you have a Penguin hat. God only knows what he has. I have no idea. But no, we appreciate you coming on, JT.
Oh, dude,
anything that I can do for you for the website, let me know, man. Promoting it and all that stuff.
No, I mean what you're doing now with the advertising and having your guys' podcast up there, and like I said, I'm just that's nice.
What is that for, Shane?
It's my Steelers kids bucket. I'm too lazy to walk down the end before put it down there and.
That is a good idea because that draft gets long, man. If I'm drinking beer, that's part of the reason I have trouble getting up.
Steelers draft piss bucket.
Well, we had last week, JT. We had 4 hours of the Pat McAfee. We started at 8. He didn't show up for 8:30. He started, and it didn't end till 12. And me and Shane were just we watched. Mark was on for about an hour and a half. He had to go to work in Australia, and then me and Shane ended it, and it was crazy.
We had 30 people in the chat at
That's
the very
awesome.
end, and I couldn't believe it because the show was good. The Pat Mack show was fantastic until he brought out the guy that did numbers or some stupid.
Yeah, that was bad. The mentalist guy. Everything else was entertaining because that video that we did, I mean, got almost 900 views, which, hey,
that's awesome.
I mean, we're just chipping away here. You know, we
got these guys are good, man. Honestly, I've been a part of a bunch of podcasts lately, especially during draft season. Now, you guys are good, man. You guys are on the ball. You know what you're talking about. I love it, man. It's honestly,
we're not your typical. I'm a diehard, but also we're entertaining, and Shane's pretty much a realist, and he balances me out.
I'm a realist, but I want you to put up Patricia's chat and then Afton. Put on Patricia's first. She's before Afton. So Patricia, JT, lives south of the border in Mexico. Okay,
I got to mail it out, Patricia. I have it.
She is, yeah, he has to mail it out. She is a Steelers fan, and she won one of these hats when we hit 350.
Dude, that hat looks beautiful, by the way. That's
Isn't
nice.
It nice? Yeah.
Really
now,
nice.
Here's the other thing. Put up Afton's chat. Now, Afton, that's the only time Bubba and me have been called both long and entertaining.
And by the way, the one guy that made the Pat McAfee show the best was a guy that shares your name, Shane. Shane Gillis is the GOAT. He's the GOAT, man. The funniest guy out there right now.
He's good.
I just want to tell a story. Shane Gillis, I was stationed at West Point as faculty and staff. His first week on campus, he was only there a week.
Yeah, he said
was my last week, and I was there at his reception. I don't remember him, but man, I wish I would have ran into him. But he was there the week I was there when we brought those kids in for reception.
He tells a great story. He's like, I guess the parents come up after your first week or whatever, and they're sitting out. He said they were sitting in the car, and he walked past his mom's like, I want out of here. I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, I can see that happening. That's funny as shit.
Oh, that is funny. So, well, everybody in the chat, thank you guys for tuning in. Hit sportsvival.com and check out all of the Pittsburgh local media. JT's looking for anybody that wants to write, articles on the Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, now wrestling. So
golf. I'm trying to do golf. I'm trying to get it all going. I did a WNBA one before I came on. Wrote WNBA about the draft yesterday. So,
well, anytime you need stuff and I'll just share it on my social media, and hopefully we can get some people. I guarantee you probably get a couple wrestlers that wrestling journalisms that want to come on. I know a few. So.
No, you guys are honestly what you guys have done with the Bucks in the Basement have done for me, and then I got another which I like to get Ins guys involved in too. They're called College Villains. I'll get you. I don't know if you ran into them guys yet, but I'll get them. They do a ton of podcasts on different ideas and stuff. They're very good. So.
Yeah, I wish I could do this. Me and Shane wish we could do this like every day and get and be like Paulson and Cran.
Intern.
What's that?
I don't need a 22-year-old intern.
I will see you a week from tomorrow, man. I'll be up here.
Yep, we'll send the invite out. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much. JT, thank you so much for coming on with your draft knowledge for this upcoming 2025 Steelers draft. You're great as always. And next week's going to be fun, and it's less than a week, so there's going to be a lot of Steeler talk. If anything shows up, ladies and gentlemen, if they sign somebody big, me and Shane and one of us will cut a video. But we hit like and subscribe to the Steelers Dynasty Podcast. Go to sportsvival.com, join up, read all their articles, and be part of a great Western Pennsylvania Pittsburgh sports news era or something like that. That's what I just figured I'd do, something like that. So, guys, thank you very much. Patricia, I will get that hat out. I got to mail it out. I definitely will mail it out. I think I never mailed anything internationally before, so it'll be a treat. So, guys, good night, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you, guys, and have a great night.
Thank you.